I think everybody just says, okay, we just need to change the numbers. I look at it the opposite. Okay, how can we get your body to move to change what these numbers are? Dustin Johnson's warm-ups are about an hour and a half, and an hour of that will be from inside of 150 yards. If it's not going to change what's happening on the golf course when you have a scorecard in your pocket, you're wasting your time. This is how you get good with scoring clubs.
All right, so I'm here with Claude because this year I was looking at my stats. Claude, 100 to 150 yards were my worst strokes gained. And I was listening, you have this great podcast lately on like your lesson checklist. So I was like, all right, I need some help in this area. I gotta get better there. Show us kind of like, how would you take someone through this in your studio here when they come to see you?
All right, so if we look at scoring wedges, right, we're gonna look at kind of some baseline numbers. I think good ones to start off with are 25, 50, 75, 100.
Okay.
Right, so if you were gonna hit a ball 25, then hit one 50, then hit one 75, hit one 100. I don't care which club you use.
Okay.
Let's just see. So give me a 25-yard carry shot.
All right.
Okay. And we're not going to tell you what it is either.
Okay.
Okay. You've got to do 25, then you've got to go 50, then 75, and then 100.
All right, I won't look.
Hang on. Okay.
Got it.
Now 50.
Okay. That's got to be pretty good. I like that one. Now 75.
75.
All right. Maybe.
And now 100.
100. It's going to be about a full one. All right. It's not that bad, I don't think.
Okay, so if we look, for the 25, you hit it 35. For the 50, you hit it 65. For the 75, you hit it 92. And for the 100, you hit it 112. So I'm not surprised from those two, but that's not exclusive to you. I just don't think people have a real good understanding as to what their golf swing needs to do to hit it the distance they're trying to hit it. So let's just start off with the 25, right? Hit me 5 balls, and you're trying to carry this 25 yards in the air.
Got it. I mean, so is this your philosophy, like, hey, I'm not going to come in and teach you how to do this right away.
I can teach you how to do all of this, right? But as a player, as someone that is a scratch golfer, that is a player, I continue to be surprised that people have no idea how to carry a golf ball 25 yards consistently, 50 yards consistently, 75 and 100, right? You're going to have an enormous amount of shots from inside of 150 yards. So you've got to be able to hit those baseline numbers. So let's just hit 5 balls and go 25 yards carry.
25 yards. Gosh, this is short, isn't it? Maybe.
Okay. Hang on. We'll take a look at these.
Okay.
28.
Gosh, that's long. I mean, I guess I don't really have a baseline though to judge it.
Well, one of the best baselines for wedges, right? It's a very, very basic method, but it's a basic method because it works, right? The clock theory is a really good way to try and feel a gauge for your wedges. The idea, you're standing within the dial of a clock, your head is at 12 o'clock, and your hands, not the golf club, not the club head, your hands are at 6 o'clock, right? So on the dial of a clock, if you're at 6 o'clock and you're a right-handed golfer, you could take your backswing to 7, you could take it to 8, you could take it to 9, you could take it to 10, you could take it to 11. On the follow-through, you could take it to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So why don't you try and feel like the backswing is going to go what you feel like is kind of 8 o'clock on the backswing and then 4 o'clock on the follow-through, and see if you can just get a sense of where that is and how that feels. Make a couple of practice swings.
That's about 8?
Yeah, just a couple of practice swings. Good.
No, that's too far.
Good.
All right.
Good. Now, the reason why I think this is important for wedges is I think it's important to have an end point for your backswing and an end point for your follow-through. Because if we know where the backswing is ending and we know where the follow through is ending, then we can put speed in that. And the way that we create spin, there is this sound, and then there's that sound. The more I strike the match at the bottom, the more spin I'm going to get. So knowing where the backswing ends and the follow through ends is a good way to then say, okay, I'm not going to overswing from there. Right. So let's just see where that goes, right? Okay, and what I'm going to do also is I'm going to film one for you.
Okay.
And just see if we can match the feel. So go ahead and hit one. Okay. This is 25 yards.
25 yards.
8 to 4.
It's chunky and too far.
That's 22 yards.
Yeah.
Right? This was where your backswing length was for 22. It doesn't feel that long. It probably feels much shorter.
Yeah.
And then the follow through was just a little bit longer than the backstroke. So the backstroke right about there, and then the follow through just a little bit longer. Okay? But we got closer to the number.
Yep.
22.
Okay.
Okay? So we're just a little bit, we're 2 yards off there. Nice.
There you go, 22.
22.
Same again.
Good. Do it again.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If you could just do that all the time, then you can give it a little, but at least now there is a sameness here in the carry distance.
Right.
You have a gauge on where that is, right?
I like the follow through.
Yeah.
I've never
matching
done
it.
the
So
follow through.
wherever the backswing length is, match the follow through.
Okay.
Try that again.
Got it.
That was good. That last one, really good.
4.
It should be right about 26, 27, but that's going to be closer. 27?
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right, so now let's go to 50.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that we did see, right, in the one that went too far, the club head speed went up by a significant amount.
Yep.
The ball speed went up by a significant amount.
Yep.
The total carry distance went up by a significant amount. So what you're trying to do when you're looking at this, right? So with your wedges, you've got the carry distance, you've got the total distance. You've got club head speed, you've got ball speed.
Yep.
You would like to be able to hit 10 of these and have the carry distance between 1 to 2 yards.
Yep.
The total difference between 1 to 2 yards. The club head speeds between 1 to 2 miles per hour. The ball speed's kind of in that same zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is 50. Okay. So this is going to be kind of that 9 to 3. Yeah, 9.
When you say
hand position,
is it this bottom one?
Yeah, the hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. It's kind of pointing that way. And so that would be kind of like 9 too.
Yeah, 9 to 3. Let's see where this goes.
All right. That was, I might have swung at that one too hard.
It was much further than 9 to 3. But.
Okay.
So you need 10 yards less, so you need to shorten that up.
Yeah. That wasn't 9 to 3.
Nope.
Can confirm. All right, so 9 to 3. Nice swing here.
Better.
Fat, but
better.
We got the distance.
This is where your 9 is. So 47.
Yeah.
So that's where you feel 9 is.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where you felt 8 was. So there's your 8, and there's your 9. Maybe just a little bit less than that.
Okay.
But better with the distance.
Yeah. Okay. And that's probably every golfer, they overestimate, or they.
I think most golfers with their wedges make a swing that is too long.
Yeah.
And they either have to decelerate, which is where we hit it fat, or we hit it thin, or they just keep going, and it goes over.
This video is sponsored by Rapsodo.
It's a good launch monitor, and the best part about it, it's not going to break the bank. It's a launch monitor that you can use to get better. It's going to give you all the numbers that the best players in the world are doing. You should have one in your bag.
Link below, check it out.
If you were a 25 handicapper, we would be doing a lot of technical work probably to your golf swing.
Okay.
Grip, stance, posture, alignment.
Yeah.
You're a scratch golfer, you've got a good golf swing, right? So yeah, and as I said earlier, everybody's technique can get better.
Yeah.
Everybody's wedge game can get better.
Right.
Right? So your wedge game will get better if you have a good understanding as to where you need to swing the golf club to hit the numbers that you need to hit. Dustin Johnson's warm-ups even on tournament days, are about an hour and a half. He's one of the longest. Wow. And an hour of that will be from inside of 150 yards.
Interesting.
So he doesn't spend an hour driving the golf ball because he's always been a good driver of the golf ball, right? So he works on the shots with his length that he is going to have an enormous amount of times. Back to that conversation about technique versus execution.
Yeah.
If it's solid, if the divot pattern's good, if it's in the center of the face and you've hit it 10 yards too far, is that technique or execution? That's execution.
Right.
But as golfers, everybody just thinks every single mistake I make is 100% technique. I've got to go practice it.
Right.
So yeah, you've hit a couple thin and a couple heavy, but the reason for that is because historically you're going back so far, you're trying to slow down and the contact gets off. Right. So somewhere in between these two would be good. That's the 8, that's fine.
Okay.
That's maybe just a little bit less than that.
Okay.
All right, so 9 to 3.
We're gonna go
right there.
Right there.
Waist high, match it on the downswing. Good.
Good contact.
Better. Yeah, better. 59, so still about 10 yards out.
Okay. Hey, at least I have like context now, right? I went from a lack of awareness to now we have an idea of, hey, around here is probably this distance.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is really powerful is video the swings. Where you're trying to go 9 to 3, 8 to 4, 7 to 5, get a visual on where that swing was versus where the distance was, trying to match, if I just go a little bit, that went a little bit too far, maybe if I go a little bit less on the backswing, a little bit less on the follow through, I can start to get that number, But just having a baseline and having a process. If you're not a good wedge player, try this. It's definitely not going to hurt. I'm not saying this is the only method to gain distance control, but if you struggle with distance control, having a visual on where that backswing should end and having a visual on where that follow through should end, I think is very, very powerful. And it's a good way to match what my body is doing to my. When I look at the numbers, on launch monitors, I'm trying to have the player change the numbers by the way they move their body. I think everybody just says, okay, we just need to change the numbers. I look at it the opposite. Okay, how can we get your body to move to change what these numbers are? How can we change how you're moving the golf club, how you're controlling the golf club to change the numbers? So I look at the body first and your swing first, what you're doing, and then look at how that's affecting the numbers.
Got it. And is some of that where you're saying like, all right, you figure out how to change this on my own as the golfer?
I can give players tons of different feedback. You can mess around with ball positions, you can mess around. There's no right answer. But I think as a player, you need to have a very good understanding as to what you do to make the golf ball go the distance it goes. Right?
Is this kind of the shift in instruction when we talk about just like golf instruction in general? Like, do you see it becoming more of like you want to help on the execution side a lot now?
I think I'm very influenced by my work with tour players, and at the tour level, the only thing that matters is execution. Right? The only thing that matters on tour for those of us lucky enough to work with tour players and be a part of that is results. Right? The only thing that matters are results. So when we're looking at making changes to people's golf swings, when we're looking at what we're working on with people's golf swings, I say this to my instructors and I say this in teaching seminars I give all the time. If you're not working on something that is fundamentally going to help you on the back nine, on Sunday, which is a term we use for professional tour players, right? Back nine on Sunday. The back nine on Sunday for the rest of us is Saturday morning, playing regular rounds of golf. It's the club championship, it's the monthly medal, it's whatever. That is the rest of us, that is the back nine on Sunday. So when you're practicing, if you're not practicing and working on things that are fundamentally going to help you on the golf course score better.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time. If
Sure.
you're working on something in your golf swing from an aesthetic standpoint, if it's not going to change what's happening on the golf course when you have a scorecard in your pocket, knowing what swing you need to make, backswing length and follow through length to achieve the numbers you're trying to get, I think is really important.
That will help me on a back.
25, 50, 75, 100, right?
Yeah.
You get good at that and then bleed that out. 100, and you can go 110, you can go 115, you go 125, you could go 150, you could run, right?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
once you get your baseline numbers really dialed in,
Yep.
right? And that's where I think Rapsodo can really help get your baseline numbers dialed in, right? Then go from 1 to 100, and in your head, just start calling out random numbers. 115, okay, can you hit 115? Okay, now 122, can you hit that number, right? They're arbitrary numbers that everybody thinks they can hit.
What about technique? Where does this play? Are you
Well, from
like
a technique standpoint, one of the things I think that hurts you, take your setup, certainly from a technique standpoint, is with your wedges, okay, take your setup, tell me when you're ready to go.
ready?
Okay. Okay. You have a lot of shaft lean at address.
Yeah.
So try and hit the 51 for me now, and don't lean the shaft forward at address. Yeah.
Okay.
More neutral there.
Right there.
Yep. Still 9 to 3, a little less.
Yeah.
Less handle back. There you go. Okay. Now go. See how that first and foremost goes higher?
Yeah. Different.
So one of the things that's different with wedges, right, is if we do get a tremendous amount of forward press, our wedges can start to dig a lot.
Yeah.
So I think one of the ways, unless you're trying to hit something super, super low, right, make sure that with your wedges that the ball position is fairly neutral. But unless you're trying to hit something crazy, crazy low, we don't need a ton of shaft lean, right?
Okay.
A good rule of thumb with your wedges is stick a T in the back end of the grip here. And when you set up with your wedges, make sure the T is pointing to your belt buckle, not to your left pocket.
Okay.
Right? This is fine if we're trying to hit this low.
Yep. Yep.
Right? But if we're trying to hit the short little soft ones and we've got a lot of forward press, now we're going to be coming in with a lot of forward press.
Sure.
And to try and dump the speed out and take speed off, we're going to want to try and go back. That's why the contact gets a little bit heavy. So hit one for me with this, okay? And again, this is going to be really good for the short 25 one. So now try and go 25. So 8 to 4, but make sure the T at address is pointing to your belt buckle.
Okay.
Yeah, 25.
Gosh, that's hard.
Yeah. See how that comes out higher and softer?
Right.
And that's going to have a little bit more spin. So the trajectory of that was very different. Almost identical to the number we're trying to get, right? And if you look at that trajectory, right? Higher than what we started with, right?
Yeah.
So shaft lean with wedges is great if you're trying to hit it low.
Yep.
But we don't want to have an excessive amount of shaft lean for just a everyday standard middle of the stance ball position.
Yep.
Keep that shaft neutral.
This is fun. I love that. Like, to me, this is great coaching, right? Because we're doing this task. We have this execution thing. Now we've spotted a simple, thing. Like, all right, here's a way to improve. Now we implement that. Now we can go back to our game. And like, is this coaching to you? Is like this what it's like to?
Listen, I think my job is to try and change as little as possible. I think everyone thinks that when they go to a golf lesson that the instructors are going to try and change things. My goal is to use technology so that I don't have to change a lot of things.
Okay.
Right? We're not having to make wholesale changes. I think the only negative element of the Tiger Woods era is Tiger made it fashionable to just change everything.
Right.
Overhaul your golf swing. So I think the average golfer is constantly trying to change things. We want to try and make as minimal amount of changes as possible so that you can focus on playing the game.
Those are wedges. What would you recommend from that 100 to 150? What could go wrong in there with my game? Do you think it's the same thing? Like I need to just do more execution?
I think a lot of it is I don't think you realize or have an understanding as how far you hit the golf ball.
Okay.
Right? I think once we get into full swings, everybody I think has a good idea. But I think from 150 and in and from 100 and in, I just think the average golfer has no clue what golf swing makes the golf ball go a specific distance.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you're topping it, if you're shanking it, if you're hitting it thin, right? If you're hitting 6 inches behind it and hitting it fat, that is a technique issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to get baseline numbers and hit those numbers, that's where I think the power of having a launch monitor is so important, because just go out and put some work in and see if you can match what your body is doing swing-wise to the number you're trying to hit. Then this is another great one. So we're going to do 3 swings. Half, 3/4, full.
Okay.
So what club do you have?
We've got 60.
Okay, so let's see what a half swing. Hang on, and I'm going to film this for you. Okay, so this is your half swing.
Okay, half swing.
Okay, so this is half. So that went 70 yards. So that's what you feel like is your half swing. Okay, so now give me what you feel like is your 3/4 length swing.
All right, 3/4.
And then we're going to hit one full. Okay. This is what you feel like is 3/4.
93,
93,
okay.
right? So we're just looking at where that is relative to what it feels like. All right, and now go full.
Okay.
So just getting a baseline of what those numbers are.
Right.
Right? Figure out what a half swing does, what a 3/4 length swing does, what a full swing does. So when you get on the golf course, you can get the yardage and just say, yeah, this is a half swing with this club. It could be a 3/4 swing. So then by just the same basic technique of the clock theory, 8-4-7 or 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, you can just change 4 different clubs, do the exact same thing, and have 50 to 70 different shots by just ball position, club selection, length of backswing, length of follow through. But most people are never going to spend any real time with this, and they'll say, wow, my scoring clubs aren't great. This is how you get good with scoring clubs.
Are you sure we can't just like turn the force plates on and you like have just some way that I could move that I can do and then I'll be good inside 150? Let's wrap with this. So give me the performance game. We did kind of like this drill thing. Do you like it? Should I practice like that? Do you like them random? Am I just, I need to learn this first
I think
and then
you
go
get
to
the
random?
baselines first, right? You get the baselines first.
Okay.
So 25, doesn't matter. You could do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? Those are tough to hit. So give yourself some leeway, right? 25, 50, 75, 100. If you can get good from those distances, and those just become, I'm really solid from 25 yards, I'm really solid from 50, I'm really solid from 70, and I'm really solid from 100, right? If you can get good at those, your wedge game is going to be pretty good. Then you can start adding some flair and but just get the basic baselines first. You know, with your wedges, just make a really good omelet. Right? It's got a couple of ingredients. Doesn't have to be fancy, but you can do it over and over and over and over and over again every single time. Then you add the flair. Then you add the face being a little bit open. I mean, most golfers are trying to be abstract painters, and they don't even know how to paint in the lines, in between the numbers, right? So if you gave them a painting and said, all right, Blue goes into the ones, red goes into the twos. They can't even do that.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be ultra creative.
Right.
And they're never really doing the same thing twice.
Yeah.
The technique and the method constantly changes.
Right.
If they have to hit the golf ball high, they immediately open the face. So take your setup, okay? This is the 25 one. Now, play the golf ball way more forward in your stance.
All right.
More. Okay. Now, weight still stays forward.
Okay.
Okay. Now, go from there. 25. So see how much higher that golf ball went.
Yep.
All we did was just move the golf ball more forward.
Yep.
Right?
Huh.
Okay, that went further, but watch the replay. Watch how much higher the shot tracer trajectory is here than the 25 we did where it was neutral and we were trying to go that way.
Right.
So all we did there was ball position. So now, put your ball position way back in your stance.
Okay.
Hands forward. Yeah, so now you're gonna try and hit a low driving one.
Okay.
Okay? Good.
Yeah, what a difference.
So what we did there was we changed the trajectory by ball position. That was it.
Nope.
So
Didn't like that one.
that's what I think is
Yeah.
important. Learning some baseline stuff so that you're not having to change too much.
Okay, so it might not be the lesson or the message that we want to hear, most of us golfers out there, but we got to do the work. Like we gotta do this stuff, right?
You shouldn't ever in golf be surprised
Yeah.
that you don't get a better result by not putting any effort into it.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not going to magically show up. And it does for golfers, that's why it's fleeting, right? They call that timing, right?
Yeah.
The average golfers, basically their entire game is based around timing. That's why it feels good one day, you hit good shots on the range, then you go to the course, you play good, you come back the following day, you think you're doing the exact same thing,
Right.
and the timing's just a little off. So I just think that from a wedge standpoint, it's the easiest low-hanging fruit to just be able to consistently hit the golf ball specific yardages.
Yep.
And that's where Rapsodo can really help you dial in what you do. Not what your playing partners do,
Yep.
not what the people you watch on TV. You want to know what your numbers are so
Yep.
you can play your best golf.
Yep. That's it. Sounds like I got some work to do. We got to set some baselines. We got to hit some golf balls, and we got to develop this skill, this execution, because I didn't have it. I mean, it makes a ton of sense. It's pretty clear why I wasn't good at this last year.
You know what you need to practice now, right? That's
Yeah.
the great thing about having a launch monitor and you're working on your distances. It's not going to lie to you. It's
Right.
telling you what is really happening. And then you can use the information to try and get your body to move in a different way.
Perfect. Thanks, Claude.